The rules in this sport change constantly. That's known as the landscape. As you're breaking into the media or then into the mainstream media, as you're living on the internet and then you're living on ESPN. The rules are constantly changing. The sport and the industry is constantly changing. People have asked me from the beginning of time, how do I get into the UFC? How do I get into Bellator? I can give you an answer that would be as good as any other answer you're going to get. Start fighting, build your name up, take as many matches as you can, get your name out there, beat the right guys, build a record, blah, 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 blah. The reason that I will give you that answer regurgitated and spit out, it will be the same as any other manager or anybody in this space that's followed the sport. The reason it's the same is we will take everybody who's ever done it, we will then deduce that down to what commonalities did they have, and whatever those commonalities are, we will then speak in a way of, this is what you must do. Largely, we will be right. It's a very good answer. There's a reason that we give the answer, but you have to follow the trends constantly. You have to constantly see what's changing. Many ways of which how you would break into the industry changed the day the Ultimate Fighter emerged. That became an incredible vehicle that nobody had ever spoke of and nobody ever thought to speak of because it didn't exist until it existed. The same thing could be said that the industry largely changed as soon as the Dana White Contender Series came along. That's a tremendous vehicle. Straight in you go. But people could never give that as an answer until it was the answer, until it was a show that actually existed. But it's important that you observe this constantly and you never get lost and you never get stuck in the mud. And there's things in this sport that can be very annoying. I remember when we went through the money fight era, and I remember when we went through the championship fight era, and we went through the championship fight only era, and when we went through the I'm going to wait out for such and such fight era, none of which have ever been true, none of which ever grew legs, and there's a reason that that carousel was spinning so quickly. It was a game of musical chairs. And the reason was nobody gets to sit down. Everybody's left standing up when the music stops. Those ideas didn't work. So instead of jumping on board with ideas that others are doing before you because you don't have the creative genius to come up with it on your own, which is fine, at least have the skills to identify what is working and when. How many guys are saying they want a title shot right now and they're going to wait and sit until they get it? Oh, and by the way, I'm going to need this, that, and the other thing, or else I'm out. Think that over. Rhetorical question, think that over. Now think about how many people are getting a title shot right now that say I would like a title shot and they leave at a hard stop right there. Who? Guys, I'm asking you. Serious question. I'm not scolding you. I am asking you. Think of somebody who has said I would like a title shot. Hard stop. Jose Aldo come to mind? Probably does, right? And guess what Jose Aldo's about to do? About to fight for the title. Well, that seemed like a pretty good idea when old Jose said that. Hard stop, no do this, that, the other thing for me. Here's what I'd like from you. Seemed like a good idea. So somebody did identify it and then somebody copied it. His name is Gilbert Burns. Oh, by the way, do you guys know what Gilbert Burns is getting ready to do in a week? Fight the world champion. Well, that seemed like a pretty damn good idea. As a matter of fact, somebody else figured that out, Justin Gaethje. And instead of just saying, give me, here's what I want, Gaethje said, what is it I can do for you to get myself what I want? And then he went out there and did it. So you can learn from Justin, you can learn from Gilbert, and you can learn from Aldo, who all had a goal and a dream and a desire and a wish, and who all successfully got it. And you can learn and observe what it was they did and how they got to this point, which is the time we're living in right now. We could have a different conversation in 6 months. But for right now, and all the changes that the world has or the sport has or perception has, whatever it is that got us to this point, these three guys stole each other's idea. Whoever came up with it first, the other two observed in whatever order that is. Now you've got three other fighters who are out there making claims. You can fill in the blank. You can insert anybody's name that you've heard of. But they will all fall to the same category, which is their next opponent is unnamed. Their next opportunity, where it's going to be on the card, is it a main event? Is it for a title? Is it an elimination fight? Is yet to be determined. Which space do you want to live in? It's up to you. But life is short, and the life of your career is much shorter. You either take the opportunities, you either get very greedy and go in and take everything that you can, fearlessly and ruthlessly, opportunity-wise, or you think you're smarter than the system. You either see what somebody else did and go out and copy it, or you see what two guys did, double down, put yourself at risk, and with big risk comes a big reward. You run your career how you want. But I would just remind you, these things go in waves, and what was true yesterday is not true to today. The basic law of biology, you evolve or you become extinct, does also play into this sport. We're at a very different time. Observe what's working. That's not just a jab followed by a body, followed by a power leg kick. It's not just that. The same way technique comes and goes, and it comes in waves. Stuff you saw in the 80s, they threw around. By the start of the century, is back now. It's winning championships. The same as technique goes in waves, so do the principles. Nobody could have guessed what strange times we'd be in, and world championships are going to be contested in front of a crowd of nobody, and there's going to have to be a Fight Island, and nobody could have predicted this. So once it happens, learn the rules. Watch what's happening. Observe it. And then manipulate it in your favor. Jose Aldo is coming off of a loss. How many guys are going to fight for a championship coming off of a loss? Appears to be the Attitude Era. Gilbert Burns has lost one fight in the last 3 years and was nowhere near a title shot, even in spite of that. But boy, did he have a good attitude. Justin Gaethje never asked for anything but went and took every championship opportunity, every chance he ever got. When that phone rang, he said yes. Interesting attitude. I don't make these rules. You can be as mad at me as you are. Shut up. I'm observing the rules. I am bringing them to you. I am right. And 3 guys with a good attitude are about to get what they want, which is an opportunity. That's it. What more can you ask of anybody than to give you an opportunity? You're either as good as you said you were or you aren't, and there's no wrong answer. That's why you go out and find this out. That's why we don't just mail out trophies and awards and change the records with an eraser on a pencil unilaterally. The boys got to go out and figure it out under the unified rules at an agreed upon time and an agreed upon weight class. I understand all of those things, but what more could you want than an opportunity? The rules change when the eras change. Sit back, observe your sport. See what's happening, see what's working, and see what's not. This is not where the old adage of fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame... Okay, nobody knows how that expression goes. The point is this. It's not fool me. It's if anybody in the sport gets fooled. If you crash into the same wall that somebody else in your own sport just crashed into, shame on you.